You ask me. You're
Yeah,
telling
let
me
me ask you
about
something. Yeah,
control.
why do you feel?
What the fuck?
Yeah, why do you feel so important to argue whether someone's racist or not racist?
Who?
You.
Don't let him
What's
back
that?
out. Don't do it.
The fuck you on
Just
about,
stay
Don't
on
fall
man?
the
for it,
question.
bro. Don't
What the
fall for
fuck
it.
you on
No,
about, man?
don't.
Why you on
What?
about?
No, no, no,
I
no, no.
beg
Don't.
you,
You don't get no. No,
please
no, no,
don't
no,
do this.
no, no, no.
Please don't fall for
Ah,
the
chef,
fuckery.
why are you
I
getting wet
swear
for?
down, he does
I
this
think someone get this bitch a
every
wet
two
wipe.
seconds.
Wipe
Red
that
time,
shit
He
up.
does
man.
this
Clean
every
up on
two
aisle
seconds.
two.
Like he'll
Because she's
ask
getting wet all
another
over the place.
question. It's
Yeah,
actually
don't fall
crazy.
for it.
Like
Don't fall
Man,
for
I
it.
it's so funny,
We're not
bro.
moving from the question. Go on,
Please don't fall for
Is he
it,
gone? What
Shaka.
the fuck, man? Why does it like? Come on, bro.
This diversion was a whole airplane ride.
Please
He's not gonna do
don't
it, bro.
fall
He's
for
not doing
it.
it.
Yo, this guy, bro.
Man is
Oh my
running
god.
marathons around
This
this
guy
question.
has
He's run
been,
marathons
oh my
around the
god, like
question.
a whole hour.
What was that,
Like
man? Why
this
not
guy
clip
He's
me,
sat
run
on
man?
the panel
marathons
and
around this
just
question.
diverted. Like anybody chime in, he'll get onto them just to
He
like
tried
get
to
away
trigger
from the
you
question.
and divert
And
the question. Yeah.
oh my
Man didn't trigger shit, man.
god,
Man
yo,
didn't trigger shit,
I ain't
man.
never seen.
Nah,
Yo, them man,
we're
there
having
should be
it.
lawyers, fam. Nah, big man
Yeah, man.
thing. Big man
Well, he is
thing.
not representing me.
Nah,
Nah, man. I
bruv,
don't
he
know what
can
the fuck he's on
represent
about, man.
somebody
Like,
else, but trust me, he'll let you off. I'm telling you, he'll win. There's no way. Cause this guy will not. He'll give you what he wants to give you. I'm
Bro, he'll
telling
be a
you now.
contempt of court. What are you talking about?
Huh?
yo,
He'll
like,
be a
come back, Sham, come back, man. I want to
he'll be
converse with you,
kicked
and you
out of
don't want to
court.
converse, man. Why are you running for, man? Come
It's
back and
because
ask you the
he's
questions, innit?
because you know why, Shaka? Because like we've been consistently saying like you're diverting, and it's like he can't. I don't think he can take it.
He
He
targets new
can't like.
people and then he tries to trigger them and divert the question.
I was asking me
He's been
about
through
being
all of us
about
on the
racism.
panel.
He said to me,
Consistently, like
"Why are you
it's
asking me about
actually
racism and that, fam? Why are you
ridiculous.
asking me
Like,
about
Wagwan
and
fan.
racism?"
I
Because he's
don't even think he
diverting
thinks
from
about
gay for
it.
pay
I
lifestyle.
don't even think he thinks about it. I think it just happens.
Fucking hell, man.
Man
You're
talking
asking
about
me
the
about
anatomy to
racism.
the T and he wants to tell us he's not gay for pay. Get out of here.
Uh,
Bro,
but yeah,
all I'm
it's
saying is
definitely.
that he apparently knows stuff.
Fuck, man.
Now, hold
Man went through the whole
on. What
anatomy.
was he talking about? And he said, "Oh, women need to get cleaned out, and this is why the
Oh,
man gets the floor because
That's
it's
because
coming
he
out
could be
from it.
carrying
And if
debris
she don't have
entering women,
sex or
you know.
finger herself, then her cervix gets a
She'll
build
have
up of
debris.
residue
Yeah, build up.
debris.
what?
Yeah, like what?
But he doesn't wash
But
himself.
wait,
So,
was
like,
the
get out of
only
here.
fan MJ?
Them
Was the
man
only
there's
fans
not
thing
well.
random? Was that random or was that what?
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
she
he
was
Just
likes to
random.
just make up lies. He'll just do that. He'll just
Yeah.
do that
It's another
to get
Let
away.
man get
Again,
triggered. He
that's
always
another
gets triggered.
diversion tactic. Yeah, like
Yeah.
he'll just make up random lies, ask you about random lies
He
that
has the
he knows
Bible
is
of
lies.
diversions. Like, he's got it, man.
Yeah, I
Subhanallah.
swear down, all of them. He knows every single tactic. It's
With
amazing.
females who insult you, so you get heated and you kind of jump out of the question, the conversation, and with men who'll just come out with some random shit, or he'll flip the
Yeah,
question back on you.
He said to me, "Why are you asking
yeah,
about racism?"
yeah.
He said to me, "Why are you asking about racism?" What? The
He
fuck?
wanted to
Yeah,
change the
women too
see,
big
that's what I
conversation.
for the
mean.
pro
He will just
to kind of like
he'll
insult them
randomly
anyway.
do
Classy
stuff
Don
like
Hill.
that.
Yeah.
He'll
And
randomly
like,
do
hell
stuff like
no.
that. Just
Oh, these strange people. Just
But the
Yo, it's
sister was
episode
composed though.
what,
The other
3000
sister was composed. The sister that was there before, she was composed. It's calm, man.
She was
day
repulsed. I was
16
repulsed with
in the
her.
Big Brother house.
The older lady. The man goes to her.
She was
What's it called?
repulsed,
How
bless
long can
her.
you make a guy come for? I'm like, whoa, what? What?
Yeah, this guy has no boundaries, man.
But
He has no boundaries.
Sneets, we need a roundup of the Big Brother house today. That's what we need.
I'm
Someone
so
to
tired,
come on.
I'm about to go to bed.
Like it was another roundup of the day. Because it's been a mad.
Good show, man. It's been a good show. I've been in
We've
and
had
out.
the American
It's been
sector
funny, man.
paid us
It's
a
been a
visit.
funny day.
Man like Facts, man like Sham. It's been crazy.
What a day.
Yeah, I'm tired from laughing.
I'm shattered, man. I'm literally, I want to go to bed right now.
what's the channel? What have you guys been on to today? What's been keeping you up day and up? Now, what's been the conversations in that before? Like, what's the conversations?
We were having a conversation about exploitation of young people, if it's happening or not, when it comes to like country lions and them sort of things.
You know, I'm gonna big you up for that. I tried to have that conversation before, but I got shut down. I think it was on another panel. I got shut down because people were saying you shouldn't be having them that. Because my thing is, because obviously I've grown up in that environment. I feel like that people are scared to discuss that shit because it seems like a taboo discussion in it. But that's screaming in it. It's a sexual exploitation. I've always been saying this in it.
What's that? Like, sorry, I don't even know what we're talking about.
Basically, there's a theory of those brothers who send young youths to do like country lands in it, like the drug line and that, like, drug up the arse and that. That's a way of exploitation and that. But because in a lot
exploitation, it's known as slavery. Like you can get it's a whole crime.
Yeah, it's modern day
doing that. Yeah, it's a form of slavery.
In a lot of urban, basically black poor communities, it's a taboo to speak about it because a lot of us. I'm not seeing people here, but we're connected to people who are involved in that lifestyle, and so it's seen as like a taboo to discuss it or to talk about it or to shame that lifestyle because like one of us here, I'm not saying anyone, one of us here might be connected to someone who isn't that lifestyle in it. It's like a taboo to discuss it, but I feel like it should be discussed more often in it within my black community in that because man, like now that I'm away from it, I'm like, wow, this is a fuckery, man. Like one brother's making mad money whilst another youth is stuffing up drugs up his ass.
But that's the thing, when you're a victim, sometimes you don't know you're a victim. That's especially when you're young, you don't really have the mental capacity to comprehend you're a victim.
And I think that's where the vulnerability comes in.
And it's easy to manipulate a child.
Shaka, but another day.
Yeah. I think it should be something that should be shamed like public in, but like people don't really like to shame it publicly. It's like we kind of like try not to discuss it till like I don't want to seem like discussing that shit because I'll be seen as a sellout or like I'm against my community or But yeah, man, that shit I believe that shit should be spoken against in it like publicly in that man car. Like I don't mean the media, I mean like to other people in let's say if it's in like my like I don't know black community, it should be spoken publicly to the black community. You get me? Not like fucking behind closed doors or in yards and that, but like publicly saying,
don't you think it comes down to the environment? Because this is just there's a root problem. The root problem is poverty, idle time, and children not having the opportunity to engage in positive things. That's the root problem. Do you know what I mean? That's just the end goal is when that does occur, the final thing, when a child is being exploited. But there's so much before that. So if you tackle things from the bottom up, then it's a better result, if that makes sense.
I believe we should tackle that above down in the car. Like the youths, because the youths are replaceable, man. A youth can be, I can die. Like the youth can die tomorrow, another youth is in there, innit? But it's not about the youths; it's about the people that run the thing, innit? But if you focus on the little youths, a youth can live in it, but another youth's gonna come in this place. You get me? It's always like there's always new youths on the fucking thing. But when you
we need to ask why they're there to begin with.
Big up everyone, large up.
Big up,
come on, family.
Hey.
Sorry, what were you saying, sis?
I literally forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, I forgot actually. Give me a second. But carry on, yeah.
I think one of you was saying to tackle it from the bottom up, and the other one said to tackle it from the top.
It's easier to see the final problem when the child is stuck in that victimized state. But there's so much before that. Whether it's the institutions, the education system, children not having a positive outlet, too much idle time, the whole self-esteem thing. There's so much more things. If you tackle those, these children won't even end up there. Do you know what I mean? But they love to make us focus on, oh yeah, it's that little kid over there, that he's the problem. No, there's many things behind that problem.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I hear. Yeah, it's a big. There's a lot to it. I hear that. And like I always think to myself, is there ways to break that shit down, that system down, but giving those youth opportunities to actually build something, like, cause like you get me, like if they, that's what I'm saying. Like I feel like a lot of people my age group, because I'm in my early 20s, and there should be more people my age group building something where we can create a kind of platform to switch it in it, because most older generation ain't gonna do it. Like it's coming because they've got their own goals in it. But I feel like it's now my generation's time to try to build something that can make a change. And it might take a couple years in it. It's not gonna happen fucking now. But like, yeah, man, like there's a lot of brothers all the route like who I grew up with. I can't see them anymore because they went through that cycle of being exploited. What's it called?
Exploited, yeah.
Exploited in that. But
Exploited.
when the shit goes down, they get locked up in it. Not the fucking brother exploiting them in it, but they get locked down. You get me? They're now mentally fucked in it because they go to prison. They come out of prison. They're now on this G thing. They're fucked in the system in it. But the person that actually like put them in the thing or helped them to get in the thing, that person's making fucking money. You get me? And that's like rah. It's a bit mad.
I think it's an illusion still, to add to your point, bro, as well. Like, I feel like there's a lot of people that seem like they're making a lot of money out here, but really and truly they're not. And a lot of kids are just like chasing an illusion, fam. Like, let's be real.
Yeah.
Drug
You ain't got
money.
credit and you can't rent a house with that money. That ain't money. You can't do anything with that money. You're just walking out with paper. That's not real
Drug
money.
Yo, Cosmo.
Belle.
Oh,
But even if it's an illusion in it, because deep it's to make one like the top brothers rich in it. Even if they might not be rich, but their goal is to be rich as fucking it. But that richness is working on them youths in it. Them youths putting in work.
They're not rich. They don't have a peace of mind. Even if they are, they don't have no peace of mind.
Them youths, man, they have to go through the gang thing and the carry twos and that. The older brothers come on, like he probably is in it. Once in a while, he's gonna be toured up. But more time, he's blessed, fam. He's got his own, he's taking off his thing. It's like raw. And now when I look back, I'm like, bro, them older man didn't give a fuck about, man. Like, we just shoots making bread for them.
But they're not rich, though. They're just gonna be washed up in 10 years' time, and we're gonna have another set.
That's it. That's it.
When you were younger, 10 years ago, they're all washed up now. Like it's an illusion, like the brother said.
Business is business, supply and demand, like Mackie was saying earlier, innit? And like, if we were to go around nicking every single drug dealer that's around today, and like not sort out what Sis was sorting out, all of the precursors of what leads to this, the next generation are just gonna realize the gap
supply and demand, man.
Go to country, like you're not gonna stop that. You get what I'm saying? It's like the reason this is perpetuating or being perpetuated is because there's a gap in the market. There's people that feel like there's a lack of opportunities and such, in which why they're looking at this as an opportunity. That's the problem. Like the older brother on the block is another person that is misguided, because even them, they're an adult, they're a full-on adult that is involved in a life of drugs. Like if you're looking at the mentality of that adult, that meant that adult's mentality is done out here, it's lost. You get what I'm saying? And it's not someone that is pre-planned to groom a child to. This is someone that is suffering. He needs help himself. So you like right now we've got grown victims that we're trying to put the full blame on. When family, we know, bro, like governments are bringing in drugs, governments are bringing in guns. Like like this is where
my thing with that is I hear that in it. And I always say fuck the government for that thing. But like I try to focus on what I can do within my what shit I can change in my community. You get me? Cause like obviously we can try to fight the government, say stop putting drugs in our community, but we know them man, it's a whole system that does that shit. But like what can I do? What can people around me or people in my community do to kind of like change the cycle in it? Because yes, the government's always gonna push that shit. But how can like is that change? Like is there something that I can do can actually change? Or can change actually it's going to happen for
not generations? Not necessarily, because it's not got nothing to do with the actual community ethos. It's not got to do with like what the community want. It's what the community are kind of bound to. So we are all like basically what will you say products of our environment. You feel me? And so literally, if you and the man them from your ends were to be like, raw, fuck this, and go and beat up all the drug dealers, anyone that you consider to be doing like selling drugs or doing grooming youths or however you want to look at it, I'm showing you in 3 or 4 years, maybe even sooner than that, the next generation is going to pick up the same thing, because there's a gap in the market. That's the problem. Like it's like we can, because this has been happening. This has been something that's been happening time and time again. And the thing is, it's like for each generation it's happening. So it's like it's the same cycle where we're looking at ourselves as the enemy. You know what I'm saying? Like we're looking at ourselves as the enemy. Like let's be real. Like how deep are we gonna take this, innit? Because when you're saying it's a taboo subject, the reason it's a taboo subject is because a lot of the things that in the black community has been demonized and criminalized. A lot of the black community smoke weed and have been doing this for the longest time. You get what I'm saying? So it's like if we're gonna flip the script and say, raw, any adult, because we all know adults that will go and buy a draw from a young youth and will have that ideology of, oh, I'm supporting the youngster. You get what I'm saying? Realistically, that adult that is buying a draw from a young youth is realistically grooming the youth. That's that we're gonna give that same ideology. Do you get what I'm saying? And like, whose community is that really? Is that really building the community or breaking down the community? Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's supporting the youngsters now. The government's not doing nothing. He's selling a little piece of weed. The elders on the block know what he's going through. They fully understand. Yo, look, man, let me get a draw. Yeah, I'm gonna shout you from now on. You ain't gotta leave the block, bro. You get me? Your hustle's here. Just keep your head on your shoulders. Yeah, all of that shit there is basically you're grooming me, bro. Like, you get what I'm saying? So who's? Yeah, it's like we're looking at each
It's a
other as
hard
the enemy.
cycle to get out of. Yeah.
Yeah, like we're looking at each other as the enemy. Like it's long.
And the worst thing is, they're minor league compared to the pharmaceutical companies that are the biggest drug dealers. The people spraying crack into our food, the biggest drug dealers. They're bigger than these kids, just doing what they have to do, you know, to survive or whatever.
Real
Allow
talk.
that. Do you know what I mean? They want to focus on the victims and the perpetrators. And we forget that, and we start to use that. We start to catch that mentality, and we victimize victims. They're victims. Do you know what I mean? We criminalize victims. Sorry.
Yeah.
So how we can change this in our communities, put worth on something else. Right now, we like
and educate.
Yeah, exactly. Education
is a powerful thing, especially these little kids with money. They need to recognize who they shit. Once a kid clocks that, like that could change his whole perspective. Like £100 has a lot to an 11-year-old, but that's not money. Do you know what I mean? Even teaching kids, they'll recognize, oh, this £100 is just, if I don't use it properly or don't invest it properly, it's nothing. It's just on paper.
It's the understanding of money.
By it.
A lot of our people are definitely financially illiterate. Even deep into adolescence, we are financially illiterate, and it's just become normal. So even when we're looking at these children and the decisions they're making, we got to remember, like, a lot of the adults that they're around ain't even capable of giving them financial advice.
Yeah.
So if they can get it now,
they don't teach that in school for a reason. That's why they don't teach it in school, because financial literacy is a powerful tool to give to someone. They will shut down their whole system. Will get shut down if everybody had financial literacy.
It's literally that.
There's one program that I heard about in Nuts, in it. Those was a prior COVID, in it. It got put on hold for a little bit. Where it's like after school clubs, in it, or youth, where the community actually they were putting money, because they're like, the government ain't gonna build no fucking centers. We do it ourselves, in it. So they put money together. Where after school clubs, where like kids or even teens, like even just people who have like struggle with like school and that. So like different like maths, obviously maths, English, even financial shit, just different things in it. There was different tutors and that, different days and that. And that's like, for me, that's fucking helpful, man. That's a big investment. You guys, a big investment.
Yeah.
It's a big investment, which I feel like that there, like it helps a lot of shit in it, because like that, even like for example, if you're a teacher, but you know, as a part-time, you do that part-time, you work in that center. That kid, instead of, you know, he hasn't got GCSEs, but now he's got opportunity to do reset his thing. If he wants to go via the route of apprenticeship or uni, but if he's got the qualification, like nothing can stop him now. Whereas like he doesn't, that's not really the excuse anymore, because the community can offer him that kind of like base of education, but like in their own way. That type of shit is like, right, that's interesting, man. But like I feel like that's things that should like that. I want to invest in that type of thing in it. You get me? Where like in community kind of like stuff in it.
Yeah, I
think a lot of people do it. They're just not recognized as much. Go on, bro. I think a lot of people do it, but they're just not. They're not going to recognize it. But people do that. Do you know what I mean?
I like that type of shit, man.
Yeah, go on, bro. Sorry, cut you off.
Yeah, because there are people in our communities who actually have like money in it, but because we're taught when you make money, buy a fucking fat whip, you get a fat chain, you know, look blingy, which is common. If that's your thing, I ain't want to shame it. You get me? A lot of brothers like that, but it's like, that money you can also invest something which can, like, I don't know, build something in it, like long for long generations and that in it. Like, I'm not saying you should always use your money for community, but if you can, man, that's a blessing, man. Instead of giving you 10% to fucking church and that. No offense to any religious people. Give it community, man. But
Yeah, man, I can respect that, man. I can respect piece of that still. It just gets deeper still, like, because one thing you don't want to do is like get lost in this illusion of the community. But one thing I've noticed is like, not everyone who I thought was a part of my community is a part of my community. You get me? There definitely needs to be a vetting process, and
Interesting.
like not everyone agenda is the same. Just what I'm saying.
Mad. Yeah.
So I feel like you just need to know what it is you want to do and get that done, because you never know what's on another man's mind or another person's mind. If you feel you're living in an area and you can make a difference, make that difference. But don't feel like you need to pull certain or change people's mentality into getting it done. Just get it done.
No, I hear that.
People is sheep and people is easily led. Like when we're looking at what going right now in today's society, like if we as a people, like especially people of African and Caribbean descent, just studied history. I'm not gonna call it Black history, because that's just like, yeah, like history. Then you'll see everything's just repeating itself. Like all the old people say, history just repeats itself, and it's not a joke. The little tactics they do, they're things propaganda. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we're living in a setup. This is not we've elected or we've got the Tories in and the Tories have made this decision and that's why it's no. This shit's been planned, and they're doing things and they've been doing things. So like community wise, I feel like the only way we can really help the communities we're in is to have to do things outside of the system, because the system is clearly designed in breaking down communities. Like that's their agenda. Like when you're pre-ing an area, it's very rare that when you got, like for London, for example, when you got a suburban area that's like majority houses on roads, it's very rare that neighbors know neighbors like they used to in the 90s and 80s. It's very rare that people go next door and knock on the door just to check on how people are. People are very much alone on the roads. You understand? The only sense of community that you kind of have in London right now is if you're living on a council estate and you've been there for the last 10 years plus. You get what I'm saying? That's when people are knocking on the doors, oh, you need sugar. And the reason that is because you're forced to have to live with people. You're sharing the same drive or you're sharing the same fucking walkway. You get what I'm saying? Like, you're forced to have to live with people. So within that, bonds are built. There's certain relationships. You understand? You may be flipping Turkish. Your neighbor may be Somalian. And guess what? Like, you're forced to have to understand that way of life. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's community. So even when we're looking at the man them on the road or the man them on the block or like, we're being taught subliminally to look at that like that's the shreg and the reg. Realistically, that is the community. You go and chat to one of them youths on the corner on the roads and say, "Rah, do you know what happened yesterday at a certain time?" Well, they know what going in the community, because that is the community. But we're being taught to shun it and mistreat it and not nurture it. You get what I'm trying to say? Like, this is the problem. Like, we're literally looking at the community and then looking at Babylon, the oppressor, and saying, "Raw, this is the problem. You don't need to come and sort it out. We need longer sentences for these men that are pushing the drugs on the youths." And go and chat to the man that are pushing the drugs on the youths, and you'll realize these men got a different kind of mentality. Right now, they're thinking they're helping these youths by giving them food. You're in a problem. You're in a little trouble, bro. I got little things for you. Oh, you're fucking up, bro. You need to give me my peace. This is how a lot of these relationships or situations happen. You get what I'm saying? Like we need to sort out our community. No one else don't need to come in and do shit. You understand?
Yeah.
That's the reality from that. And yeah, my rant's over. So.
Nah, big up that. Big up that.
No, big up. That was all facts, man.
Yeah. Definitely, man. Like this man, they like this is where my kind of nationalism comes in, or a thing of like I believe like okay, the Pan-African community or people. I don't want to limit to like because there's people who might be like from different like African whatever who are still my people in it, but because like I feel like other than Pan-African people, no one really takes care of Pan-African people like us in it, and I feel like we should start focusing on taking care of ourselves in it. But usually because we kind of taught this thing of like, no, we should integrate. I feel like we care more about fitting in and getting accepted than actually taking care of our own shit. And we feel like other people should, like other people are obliged to take care of us, like the government, the Europeans. But no, I don't know. I just feel like now, man, it's time for us to pie in our own shit, innit?
Most
Handle
definitely,
our
bro.
own shit, our own problems. We handle it. Like I'm not saying, you know, like community justice, like in South Africa where they're fucking, you know, like burn fucking rapists. I'm not saying that way. I'm just saying like there's other ways in it where we should actually come community and say, listen, like, yeah. But it's a big thing and it's a big step in. There's big steps in that. But
I think
young
it's
people,
never big steps. I think it's small steps, but we're being taught that it's big steps. And I think the first step that we need to take is to look at our community and actually appreciate it. Like look at the man them on the roads and actually appreciate it. Like, yeah, there's so much negative. Actually look at it and try to see a positive and work on the positive. And that's the only way we're gonna be able to organize and centralize, like Garvey says. You get me? Like, for example, let me show you this. Yeah, throughout British history, Black British history, the majority of things that Black people did, young Black creatives did, that ended up blowing up to be a major arts throughout the world, was demonized by the powers that be at the time, and even the parents at the time. The Black parents were not motivating it. Do you understand? We're not involved in it. Whether looking at Lovers Rock, you're looking at Ska, you're looking at grime, you're looking at fucking even London hip hop, anything that we did as Black youths. Do you understand? Once we get a little piece older, our youths are wrong. Like we're not entertaining them. We're not supporting them. This is us. No one knows.
That's
This is
what they
something we
want.
need to do, bro. Do you understand? Like look at fucking Sterling. Look at all the Mo Farah. Look at all the Black faces that are literally representing this country right now. And the reason they're representing this country all week is because we never embraced them when they were younger. Do you get what I'm saying? We didn't give them that sense of raw, I am Black. This is where this is the culture I come from. Like even when you're looking at road youths now, this is what I say to everyone. When you're looking at road youths now come from every walk of life. Do you understand? You can be Afghan, you can be fucking anywhere, bro. You can be Iranian, you can be Turkish, you can be anything, bro.
But the foundation of road routes was like protecting the community from like them BMP lads and different like that's how like a lot of road routes were like. Obviously they were not road routes; they're basically like just man them in it. But like that's the foundation. Like they're just brothers who like make sure that everyone's safe in it. The youths are safe, everyone's safe in it. But what I'm saying
to you is the influence of Black Britain, yeah, because you're not lying, bro. Every community has the group of young boys that are just on road. You understand? That are just out there doing, keeping up with whatever they can keep up with. You know what I'm saying? Every community has that. But when we're looking at the influence of Black Britain, yeah, what are the majority of the youths on road in England saying to each other now? How do they greet each other? Wagwan blood. That's Caribbean lingo, bro. No one ain't going out there speaking Turkish lingo, speaking flipping any other lingo. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like we created a complete culture that we have been taught to disrespect. We're not trying to nurture it. From the inception of it, we've been not taught to nurture this thing. We've been taught to demonize it, look away from it. These are our children, bro. The whole way we talk now, the lingo, like these that are putting it into the fucking dictionary, bro. Words that we created, that we're using. You get me? Our children, and we're demonizing it. They're like, you get what I'm trying to say? That's the fucking problem. The fact that we are so susceptible to keep looking at our children as the enemy. That's love. Yeah, we got work to do on ourselves, guys, and it's minor work. Go out there and greet the youths them that you feel is a problem and you're scared of. Go and say, "Well, good day. What's your name? What you up to?" Offer them something. Nurture the community, bro. It's like that's what we need to start doing, and then we will see the change.
Now,
Like
you know the maddest thing is I agree with you, and I feel like a lot of times our parents, because a lot of our older generation parents, they have learned to be to become submissive to the European, to the West, in it. So they're willing to be puppets, and whatever is West is right in it. And a lot of them, they kind of shame their culture. They don't actually realize it by wanting us to be more Western in it, to be more, speak more, more.
That's what they were taught, innit? That's
professional. But
exactly.
like leave your culture, don't really try to focus on the more Western culture, innit? So like a lot of, even because I'm African, innit? So a lot of African brothers who I converse with, I realize a lot of these brothers actually don't really identify with their culture, innit? Their true identity, because a lot of them, their parents wanted them to fit in to the Western world, innit? So their parents kind of shame the traditional culture and having identity of being an African or Caribbean, and they want them to fit in. And that fitting in kind of like that fucks up a lot of things in it. And I'm like,
So
it should like be part of your culture doesn't mean you hate or you hate because the Asian brothers they love their culture. If you reach out to a Pakistani, they love their culture, but they can still fit in.
difference. There's a
Get me?
difference. There's a
You
difference.
get me?
Because
But I feel like loving your culture and loving your people and being able to like connect with your people shouldn't be a shame, man. And I feel like it's sad that a lot of people my age, because I'm in my young 20s, a lot. But if I chat to another brother, it's rare for him as a black brother for him to still and like be proud of, especially being African. Maybe Caribbean, a lot of Caribbeans are proud of their Caribbean descent, but a lot of African they say they're proud, but a lot of like the values they kind of demonize them and they try to stay away from them because it's kind of seen as your village, you're fresh, whatever. I'm like, nah, man, be proud of yourself. Be proud of if someone calls you fresh, you both. That just means you know your culture, but it's not a shame, like. But
to be honest,
That's the
like these are
narrative,
all
though.
things
That's the
that I think,
narrative.
these are narratives that
Sorry,
have been
bro.
used to keep us divided. You get what I'm saying? You man are freshies, everyone like even in like because you're a little piece younger than I am. Like even the older generations will show, man, from when they went to school, Africans versus Caribbeans was something that was promoted. You get me? Whether it was football, whether it was little fights, you get me? Like we were always taught to look at each other as separate. Do you understand? Any culture that comes into the UK is taught to look at each other as enemies and themselves as slightly a little bit wrong. Do you understand? This whole society, this whole country is like systematically based on destroying like tribal and traditional roots. That's why it's very important to understand after 2 generations, whatever country you come from, your youth's gonna be saying Wagwan blood. Do you understand? Like because the tradition, the tribal, the tradition, wherever you come from has been broken down. You're mostly coming from a single parent household. This is something your family line has never seen before in your country. Do you know what I'm saying? You come to England and 2 generations down and this is normal. You know what I'm saying? Like
mad.
Yeah, man, it is deep still. It is definitely deep.
Yeah, it's sad that like because a lot of things like even if when I analyze a lot of things like we actually ate the bullshit that we fed in it. Like they gave us this bullshit, we ate it and we accepted it. Even like now, like when you hear a lot of brothers like give a narrative of themselves, it's what they're told that you're this and they're like I'm this because of this. Man, no, you're not, bloody. Just accepting that you are. Now you believe this shit in it because another man from another culture told that this is what an African or Caribbean man is. You live your life according to what you're told that you are. Now you're gonna accept that shit. And I'm like, rah, like, yeah, I see a lot of this shit, like people accepting this narratives or like, or this like these stereotypes and that. Like, rah.
Yes, family.
Yo.
Done now. It's been an amazing show. I'm gonna have to call it to a halt because it's my bedtime, and I've still got an episode of Black Summer to watch. You get me? So I'm gonna watch that. I'm gonna go sleep.
Come on, hit up that button, family.
Hit that like button up on your way out. And if you got anything in your heart for the hard work and the fucking content that's come through today, drop something in the Cash App. The Cash App name is Trill Donate or something in the PayPal. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow where we do it all over again. Big up the whole panelists. Bare bad conversations today. I'm sure there'll be a review. Jamie, there'll be a review of today's show. But yeah, come through tomorrow. And if you wanted to jump on today and you're just plucking up the courage, tomorrow's another day, so come through, man. Big up yourselves. Catch some rest and whatnot. I got gym first thing in the morning. And then, yeah, I'll be back at you lot after gym. So, yeah, peace, man.
Big up,
We out. Big up, man. Big up, everyone.
Love up the panelists, man. Love.
Come on. Each and every time.